Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? This is Politics with Laura. Oh, I'm trying to get this straightened out here. Okay, this is not working the way I want it to, but let me start off with this. I like that song. Okay. It has been a wild 2 weeks, but before I even get started, whenever I'm wrong, I must walk it back. Walk it back. Walk it back. A previous stream, I was extremely emotional, but that is no excuse. Being emotional has nothing to do with it. Giving out, just making sure that I'm giving out correct information. And I thought the information was correct, but however, one thing I do know as things are breaking, it does take a little time for the dust to settle, for things to come out for accurate information. Now, what was said was that the police did nothing to save the children. And that was based off of the information that was coming out of Texas. So I'm going to have to walk that back because that was inaccurate and I do apologize. I most definitely do apologize. That right there, I do know better. I know better, so I'll do better. So I do apologize on that right there. All right. Now, let's go ahead and start off. Let's go ahead and do a recap. Now, let me see. Where do I begin? Politics with Laura. The U.S. has been in a tailspin of terror. A tailspin. Now, do we? Okay, wait a minute. Let me back up a little bit. Now, some people are saying, and I'm just simply reiterating what's being said, and that is that these mass shootings are hoaxes or psyops. Now, I'm not sure. I do know that psyops do go along, do occur, and sometimes it's a little difficult to know what is a psyops, what is a hoax, and what is just actually real. The times that we are in, there's just so much stuff going on. You don't know what is what, and it's just happening in some of the most obscure places. But it doesn't mean that it's true, and it doesn't mean that it's false. And I don't mean that whatever happens to people, no, but the intention behind the actions. That's what I mean. Now, back on Peyton, there's more information coming out. Now, I said, who raised him? Now, his parents came out and said that they did not know that he had the gear that he had. And when I say gear, I mean the vest, the guns. He didn't know what they had. Now, I'm thinking if somebody's living in your house, it is virtually impossible for you not to know what's going on. Now, when I grew up, um, I didn't have any liberties. I lived under my parents' roof and my door was open. I didn't close. I wasn't allowed to have my closed door, my door closed. Their house, their rules. So that's why I find it a little difficult when things like this occur and parents are like, oh, I had no idea. Are you not going around and checking to see what's going on in your house? Because it is your house. And then you have some guests run around saying what kind of rights they have. Nah, if you're living under somebody's roof, you have no rights. You have a right to shut up and clean your room. Not shut up, but be quiet and clean your room and listen to your parents. But if you were brought up to where you can talk about, well, this is my room and you can't come into my personal space. Now you see, I'm a Gen Xer, so a lot of you millennials and Gen Zs, you talk out the side of your neck like you actually run something. When you live with your parents, that's who you live with, your parents, especially if you're not paying them any money or contributing to the household besides this. That's how I grew up. Allowance, I was allowed to go outside. But it is beyond me. I mean, it really trips me out how things like this occur, and then the parents are like, oh, I didn't know this was happening. You don't know what's happening in your under your own roof. And before people start throwing in, oh, you're conservative, or you're no, no. It's not that I'm conservative or it's not that I'm liberal. It's just certain things that you simply do not do. And if you are under someone's roof, you owe them respect. And not no, you just don't you just don't do those things. Talking about what rights you have. If you're talking about rights, then you need to get your own apartment. You need to move, get your own digits, and then you'll see how things are, and then you'll view things differently because you'll be paying all the bills, and then let somebody come in your house saying what rights they have and not contributed nothing to the household. But I digress. Let me pull it back. So it seems like that there is a theme of AR-15 assault rifles. Now the NRA is really taking a black eye just right there. And they're saying it's the NRA's fault. Now you see, I'm not a gun owner, but one thing I believe in is putting responsibility where it belongs. Now, this guy, I'm not sure where he got this AR-15 and a bulletproof vest or whatever padding he had and the military gear. Um, these companies need to be a little bit careful as far as who and what they sell to and what it is. Just a thought, companies, just a thought. Now, that was devastating. And his whole issue was he wanted to kill black people because the white population is dwindling. Okay. Whether if that's true or not, I'm not going to debate that because I don't have the statistics or facts in front of me. But let's say hypothetically that's true. Let's just go on a hypothetical that is true. Uh, do you think killing black people is going to solve your problem if your birth rate is at zero? Let's just go with logic, with what makes sense, because apparently the boy Peyton, he was brainwashed. And I don't mean brainwashed with clean water. I mean brainwashed with some dirty water that makes no sense. So his big idea from reading the, what is it called? I can't remember the name of it. Replacement theory. That foolish piece of work. That, okay, white people, the population are dwindling. People of color, their population is going up. And so your big idea that you get from that is to kill people of color, to kill black people. That is your big idea. As I said in the earlier video, why not look at your community? What is going on in your community to where people are not having babies? Killing black people is not going to stop. You can kill all the black people you want, but it's not going to improve your population. That just makes no sense. Let's stick with what makes sense. And if not, take your dollar bill, go to CVS, break it, make change so you can get some sense. Just a thought. So then he's going killing people. And the wild part is this. A lot has happened, and I'm, starting to allow the fog to leave. You did all that. Now what? Now what? Now you're going to be in jail. And I found it quite interesting how he managed to go in there and kill those people and come out unscathed. He came out after slaughtering people, but did not get shot. But, I'm going to leave that point for another video. So they take him to jail. So he'll be in there for a very long, well, maybe. And now I got to take that back, because whether if you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, a black life has very little value. And if you don't believe me, look at Latasha Harding before the Rodney King case. A guy kicked a dog and he got 6 months in jail, and an Asian store owner kills a 15-year-old black girl in California, and she got probation. But a white guy kicked the dog and he got probation. I mean, he got he went to jail for 6 months or something like that. So so we ought to be running around saying dog lives matter, because black. Okay, I'm going to back up on that one. But it's true. You can look at just look at what goes on in the United States. Look at these courts, see how it happens, and see what the verdicts are. It's not, and nothing's going to change until the dominant culture changes, because, as I said in the previous video, putting this on black people and see how black people can get along with everyone else. No, that's not how it works. The person who has the problem, what do? However, let's move on. And that was tragic what happened in Michigan. And and I thought it was interesting as how immediately they went to mental illness. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. There is nothing that I was able to find out that said that he was mentally ill. He didn't have a mental diagnosis. He just spouted out his racism. And I had a previous video, I said I have a hard time calling him a racist because he hasn't carried out any of those views. You could sit there and spout whatever thing you want because you have First Amendment rights. You could talk as much smack as you want, but however, when you act on it, that's different. You could sit there and you can say whatever you want. Well, there may be some liability to it, like Amber Heard is running around calling Johnny Depp a white beater. Oh, goodness gracious. Calling him a wife beater. But even though it's based on a lie, but you can say what you want. Well, no, let me take that back. You have to say what is true, but we're not going to get into what is true or false. But you better say what you want. But when you call somebody whatever negative name, whatever ninjas you want to say, you have the right to say it. Doesn't mean you're not going to get slapped up or something like that, because people don't like being called it. But however, you have the right to say it. but he actually put action behind his hatred. So on that end, he has proven to be a racist, brainwashed, listening to some folios. That and these are the people that sit there and talk all the smack about, oh, I hate this, I hate that, but then they have these mindless people who run out there and actually mindless or confused people that run out there and do it, and they do their bidding. And people, please understand that the people who are running around saying all this mess and getting you to do it, and you do it, guess where that at? Oh, that's horrible that happened. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. But 10 people dead. Now, let's leave Michigan alone and let's go to Texas. Now, that right there, I should have stayed in Michigan. Let me go back to Michigan. Now, in Michigan, you did have a clear case of a mental health issue in Oxford, Michigan. You had that boy, Ethan Crumbley, who was crying out for help. He even asked his parents for help, and he killed several students in Oxford High School. That's a tragedy. That could have been stopped. But you have those mentally lackadaisical people that work for the government, did nothing and allowed that to happen. Now you gotta stop and think. Was that a psyop? You gotta look where those military bases are. I'm just saying. Where are those military bases? You have a nice big one up there in Ohio. I don't know about Wisconsin, Michigan. Just a thought. Now, that was a clear cry. That was a mental health situation. And his parents, like I said, who are raising these people, their thought is to get him a gun, and he's running around saying that he hears voices, and he's telling you he needs to go see a head doctor. Not in those words. I'm just sort of putting that out there. Those parents belong exactly where they are, in jail, getting sued. All right. Now in Texas, that was also another clear case. And the police, I'm going to withhold judgment on that because there's still information coming out. A guy came out and said that they were mobilizing, and you had different jurisdictions coming in, or different agencies coming in to deal with the issue. So I'm going to leave the police action out of it. I'm just going to deal with the mental health point. That boy needed help and no one helped him. Everybody knew he needed help but him. And that's sad. And people down there in Texas and in Uvalde, that was not cool. That was not cool at all. Those 22 people didn't have to die if somebody would have spoke up and did something, instead of sitting there beating him up, making fun of him, and ignoring him. That was terrible. And what I find about this culture here, this new emerging culture, is people that are having mental problems. The first thing what you do is make fun of them, beat up on them, point at them, say, ha, 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 I'm glad it's not me. And then when they turn around and lash out, oh, guess what? It is you. And you could have opened up your mouth and got him some help. Those 13, oh. And I'm going to say this. This right here is a stain on you all down there. This is a stain on you all, on your souls. Because I looked at some of the things, what the people were saying, and they're sitting there smiling and snickering. That's a tragedy, and you can't do nothing but find something funny about it. That's a stain on your soul too. But then again, this country has a stain on its soul. Tragedy, tragedy, tragedy. Mm. But let's go to Chicago. Now, what happened with Chicago? What was it? 53 people were shot, 9 died. And what was interesting was people were predicting that there was going to be a lot of shootings up in Chicago. Now, in the places that I mentioned before, the people who got shot were shot at one time randomly. And before we start talking about black crime and this, that, and the other, one thing black people do not do, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this, and that is black people, whenever they go out and shoot somebody, they're out there for a specific person. They just don't run out there and do anything willy-nilly, just anyone at random. No. They don't kill people that are random. Don't run around and kill random innocent people. Now, I'm not saying that people that get killed that are caught in a crossfire, that's one thing, but not to go out and just seek anyone. No. So the violence in Chicago was, I would say, quite interesting and something that really needs to be looked into. Because I did a video before about the CIA. Now, this is a psyop, and I can't prove it. I'm just talking. Don't put any credence to what I'm saying. I believe it was a psyop, and this is the reason why I think it's a psyop. Because there were arms that were left out in California, in LA, as they did back in the 80s. Now, you see, the government, the CIA, you're not real intelligent because you're doing the same thing again. This is your third time doing it. And now you're starting to show a pattern. The first time, okay, you got people. The second time, people start to look sideways. The third time, back in LA, oh, they know it's you. They know it is you. And then back in Chicago, oh, people know it's you. Chicago, no, LA in the 80s, Chicago in the 2000s, back to LA, what, like last year, December, January, and now back up here, leaving these carts of guns and magazines. Yeah, okay. Like, we believe that. Whether if you understand it or not, we do have common sense. And we know that you all are just as corrupt as a day is long, but I'm going to leave it as that. I don't want my channel taken down because I have 9 strong subscribers, and I'm thankful for them. Thank you. But there's more to it, and I'm just waiting for more information to come out. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so in the Chicago Sun, it says 11 guns recovered during a party in North Avenue, Memorial Day. Very, very, very interesting. Okay. Why do you need a gun to enjoy the beach? That is a question. Why do you need a gun to enjoy the beach? And this is the Chicago Sun-Times. And it says, struggling to respond to a large gathering of young people downtown following a spat. Just spat? A spat of shootings. Chicago police arrested 13 people and recovered 11 guns during a long day, sometimes rowdy Memorial Day party. North Avenue Beach. Yeah, I think. Oh man, I can't believe I'm going to say this because when I was young, I wanted to do run wild and just do whatever. But now that I'm older, I see there's a lot of wisdom to restraining yourself in some of the things that you should be doing because of the fallout. You just do and don't think. But we didn't have social media in my time. A promoter on the social media, the 2000 themed cookout, the beach takeout over Monday drew hundreds of people as the temperatures jumped into the 90s. It was hot, especially down south. But then again, Chicago, Illinois is quite different. That's a different. Okay, the officers began making gun arrests shortly after the event started, and people pelted their glass bottles and bottles thrown into the party goers. Oh, that's not cool. According to police, the chief of patrol, Bryant McDermott. So taking glasses and beer bottles, and just throwing them at people. Oh, that right there is shady and not cool. One of them, at one point, a call went out for mass arrest after cops was hit in the chest with a oh my goodness, with a pineapple, McDermott said. 3 people were taken out into custody. That's trifling. Shouldn't have done that. Act like you have no behavior at all. 11 more, ages 19 to 27, and a 17-year-old boy were hit with weapon related charges. Wow, okay. 19 and 27-year-old. Now, the 19-year-old people are, at that age, you're stupid and you're a fool. And I'm not stupid and a fool, but a 27-year-old, you all be ashamed of yourself. You need to grow up. But charging them with weapons by throwing a pineapple? Come on now. Some of them face charges. Okay, I already read that. While a 22-year-old man was also charged with reckless conduct, assault, and resisting arrest. Okay, now I go for that. Reckless conduct. You, look, we have a responsibility to control our behavior in a social setting because people don't have to deal with your ill behavior and your ill manners like you weren't brought up right, like you were a heathen running around that had no behavior. That's just my 2 cents. Uh, the influencer promoting the party took down a social media post after police reached out, Brown said. On May 11th, another takeover party in North Avenue Beach spilled into the streets of Old Town for hours. 3 days later, 16-year-old Shondell Holiday was shot and killed during a fight after another large gathering near the Bean at Millennial Park. And that's sad because you can't even go to a gathering without some folio wants to be, dare I say, violent and wants to start problems and then hurt people. Look, okay, this may sound a little insensitive, but if you have that type of behavior, please get some help. Don't put that mess on other people because you got issues going on. Get some help. The fatal shot led Lori Lightfoot. She's an interesting mayor. Oh my goodness, she's interesting. To impose a curfew on unaccompanied minors at Millennial Park. Also, she pushed through the city council a 10 p.m. curfew that applies to minors 17 and under. That makes sense, but when you have a lack of a moral foundation, then you have to be treated like a child, and then you want to run around and say how you're being suppressed or oppressed. Look at your behavior. Before you start running around talking about oppression, look at how you behave and be open and be honest about your behavior. Not because it's you and everything what you do is right. No, get past that. Really take a critical look at yourself. As long as Memorial Day weekend approached, the mayor said she hoped for a fun and great weekend and reminded parents of their responsibility. Yeah, I know that it's not proper because you're supposed to have this positive reinforcement and timeout and this, that, and the other. Nah, you need to spank that child because sometimes you got to speak the language. Oh, I know I'm going to get flack on this one. Sometimes children or kids just don't take to the timeouts and taking stuff away and talking to them. They see you as being soft. This right here's a new generation. These Gen Zs, a lot of them are very different, a different type of folk, different. And that's just what it is. Different type of people. And a timeout and no and this and that, it's not working with them. They're going to do what they want to do. And they're doing it. Okay, back to the article. At one point, the atmosphere grew tense, and some of the crowds were startled when fireworks went off. That's what they do. They set off fireworks and shoot people. That's been happening for the past what 15, 20 years. Okay. Okay, the crowd was startled and fireworks went off. Later, a huge surge of people rushing from the beachfront towards the North Avenue iconic bathhouse. I mean, boat house. Although it was not immediately clear why. Kenneth Brown, 27, of back of the yards, I don't know what that is, said he believed the recent downturn gathering were propelled by people just wanting to enjoy warmer weather. Okay, I get that. It really be happening because it be so cold in the Midwest, and then as soon as we finally get some fresh air or some heat, everybody wants to go out, said Brown, who was filming for his YouTube page. And when we went out, we looked we looked we like loose dogs. Okay. Then he said he wasn't bothered by the police presence. Nothing. Oh, nothing. He's used to seeing cops, and he wasn't even paying them no mind. I think it was good because all the stuff that was happening. He said, "Okay, when do we get to the? Oh, okay. I thought that was going to go somewhere else. Okay, so they collected the guns, arrested 9 people, got the folios out the way, acting a fool. Okay, but here the nine deaths and 47 wounded, 9 deaths. Uh, okay, okay, they won't let me look at that. Let me try this one. Okay, this is Memorial Day weekend, and this right here is the Chicago 5, Channel 5. And I'm just going to jump over some things, okay? By Monday morning, shooting had outpaced Memorial Day weekend 2021 when 37 people were shot, 3 of them fatally. In the last fatal incident, a 25-year-old man was killed when he and 2 others were shot on a sidewalk at 7:45 p.m. Monday in the 1300 block of East 93rd Street. Police said the three men were near the sidewalk when they were struck by gunfire. A 25-year-old was shot multiple times and in the oh my goodness in the chest and was taken to the Trinity Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. That's terrible. 26-year-old man who was shot in the chest and taken to an area hospital critical condition, while a 27-year-old transported himself to another hospital. His conditions are not immediately known. The police said no one was in custody as of Monday evening, and the investigation remains ongoing. This is really a tragedy. It is whether if crime happens randomly or whether if it's specifically target. Oh man, is it worth it? You have a problem with someone and then your way of solving it is by killing them. And then when they catch you, your life is over. Is it really worth it? This wise man, he passed on, Dr. Anderson. He would say to people, when you make a mistake, make small mistakes so that you can recover from it. But when you make big mistakes, you spend your life recovering from it, and so much time has passed by, you can't grow in any other way because you're too busy recovering from that big mistake. So, saying all that to say, be careful with your mistakes. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not see you. You want to come up? Oh, what happened was, or as I say, what had happened, what happened was I was just sort of talking about what happened in, what is it called? Chicago. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm streaming off a live StreamYard and I was looking at something so I didn't see your post, so I do apologize for that. And you are no longer here. But thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that Geo part. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do appreciate that. Okay, but on that note, I did want to most definitely retract that statement that I said as far as the police not doing anything, as far as the children are concerned. But I still do stand by that statement how black people are getting killed, but police are afraid. I'm not saying all, I'm just saying those of you who do it. So if you get offended, then yeah, I'm talking to you. But if it has nothing to do with you and you're offended, then what's wrong with you? Why would you get offended for something that you don't do? Unless if you subscribe to that behavior, but I'm not going to go into the psychology of it. I'm going to leave that alone. That is an issue. But on that note, that's all I wanted to say. And I want to thank you for stopping by, my subscribers, my 9 strong. Let me give an update about that video that I did about Madison Cawthorn. I told the truth. And the truth that I told was okay. They said that he had a sex tape. That was the funniest sex tape I have ever seen. But his behavior, him being 26 and seeing how foolish young people act, he was secretly taped by some friends, and you need to check your friends, but also Madison, you need to check your own behavior. He had the funniest sex tape known to man. That was hysterically funny. So I mentioned that, and I mentioned some of the other things that was stated in the news in the United States and the news around the world, which I did present. So he had it taken down, had it, and I know it's him because I accidentally, I tagged him and tagged him so that I can get more people coming to my channel to check out my content. I wasn't expecting him, so it was flagged. If it weren't him directly, then it was people in this camp. So I'm fighting YouTube to get my what do you call it, video back up, because nothing that I said, it wasn't a lie, it wasn't slander, nothing like that. Everything that was said was not only in the news, but that he had addressed himself. Oh, and another thing, if if you don't listen to the people that you pay, that is on your team, your political team, and you don't take their advice, then that's a you problem. Just a you problem, not a me problem or anybody else reporting on your silliness and stupidity. You might want to just think about that, sir, and stop taking down people's videos for telling the truth about you. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and go, and thank you for checking me out, because Politics with Laura, you got to be politically incorrect because I'm politically incorrect. You're politically incorrect because you're here with me. Thank you very much, and thank you for stopping by. Bye bye.